Let me ask you something. Do you enjoy games like you used to? When playing a new game, do you still not want to stop, feeling yourself getting more hooked as the minutes go by? Or does the opposite happen? Does playing and finishing new games seem more like a chore than a pastime? This is a phenomenon that to an extent I've been feeling as of late. It's definitely not as dramatic as I made it out to be, but the current gaming industry saddens me. It's a cesspit of mediocrity, false promises, unfinished releases, trend chasing, and just plain repetitiveness. And it's gotten to the point where no one really tries anything new anymore. And don't get the wrong message, please. I'm not saying that games are bad now, because that's not true. They're just not as interesting. Although when I do get these feelings, I have a backup game, a classic that I always flock to not only reminisce on my nostalgia, but just to look upon what this game did that every game dev should follow. Be original. Don't follow trends or try and make a blockbuster Hollywood story. Just make the game a video game. Make it fun. Have fun doing it, and don't take yourself too seriously. The game we'll be diving into today is a perfect example of this, and I consider it the gold standard of video game design. You're currently listening to the theme song to Hitman Blood Money, a rendition of the classical piece from the 1800s, Ave Maria. This is, in my opinion, the most fitting theme song to any video game. Such a calming and blissful piece, encapsulating the protagonist's reserved personality and almost divine nature as the perfect assassin. The more I listen to it, the more I want to shave my head bald, find a clown, stick a syringe in his neck, take his clothes, and kill 26 innocent people with a pair of hedge cutters. And I welcome you all back to the show where we talk about games. Today we're diving straight into Hitman Blood Money, a stealth game from 2006 developed by IO Interactive, where you take the role of Agent 47, a professional hitman.
If you put the letter S in front of Hitman, you've had my exact opinion of
Agent 47.
The Hitman series is praised for its simple yet effective level design, where each mission your objective is to eliminate your target. How you go about doing that is up to you. This is in fact the fourth game in the Hitman series. Preceding this game was the trilogy of games known as Hitman Codename 47, Hitman 2 Silent Assassin, and Hitman Contracts, all receiving praise in their own right. Although Hitman 2 Silent Assassin had more units sold, Hitman Blood Money generally receives better praise as the best Hitman experience, at least until the series reboot Hitman Trilogy from 2016 onward. Blood Money had the most development time out of all games, however, being developed alongside Contracts. The goal for this game was to perfect the formula they set out for themselves, so the stakes were high. As much as I would like to cover every Hitman game on this show, I'd rather for now stick with my favourite game in the franchise / one of my favourite games ever, Hitman Blood Money. For this video I'll be playing on the PC version for quality purposes. Everyone watching at home, keep those socks on because you're going to see what game design at its finest truly is. Opening the game will greet you with a small cinematic showing the statue of the Virgin Mary and baby Jesus in front of a church, accompanied by the game's theme song. And you best be sure to pick a good name for your profile, as this will be the name of your assassin that will be feared throughout the rest of the game's story. What I like is that the game tells you what the differences in the difficulty options are. The differences mainly include the intelligence of the AI and the amount of saves you can have per mission. Rookie being unlimited, normal having 7 per mission, expert having 3, and pro being no saves permitted. After picking your difficulty, the game will launch with a cutscene showing an amusement park. Everything seems all normal until the Ferris wheel malfunctions, causing utter disaster. We find out that construction failure, possibly caused by negligence by park owner Joseph Clarence, aka the Swing King, led to this tragedy, resulting in 36 deaths and many more injured. Mr. Clarence had various lawsuits put against him, yet somehow he avoided all charges. However, losing his fortune, empire, and wife in the process. We then see a man sitting alone in a dark room where articles about the Swing King are plastered all over the wall. At the desk the man is sitting at has a photo of a boy and a telephone. The scene ends with the man dialing a number on said telephone and simply saying, I'd like to place an order. This leads to the very first mission in the game. Your target? Joseph Clarence. And that's a perfect way to start the game and give context to who you are and what you're doing. It has little to do with the rest of the story, but it's ambiguous and it makes you ask questions, and most of these questions get answered within this first mission. The purpose of that scene is to introduce your role as the assassin. Someone does something bad, victims of the bad event call the agency you work for, and your agency sends you the contract containing details of your mission, including your target to eliminate. As simple as counting cards. There are 3 of them. Most missions start with a briefing where your handler, Diana, will tell you about your targets and objectives. The briefing contains details describing the targets and other important information such as where to escape, an optional objective, items to retrieve, etc. The objective of each mission is to kill your targets, however the game doesn't tell you how to kill your targets. It instead chucks you into an open, non-linear sandbox and tells you to figure it out for yourself. The missions are structured through a scoring system. This is seen at the end of every level where you can read over your contract summary, where your score is represented by the money you earn for completing your contract, hence the game's subtitle, Blood Money. Your mission rating is dependent on how much extra money you can earn other than the set amount for completing objectives. The rating system is cool and is determined by how stealthy or aggressively you play. Having witnesses, bodies found, gunshots heard, being caught on CCTV, killing non-targets, and other things can all hinder your mission rating. The ratings can be things like Specialist, Hitman, and Shadow, all the way down to Serial Killer, Psychopath, and Terrorist. And how do you get Terrorist, you ask?
Another gorgeous day in paradise, huh, friend?
At the end of every mission, the game will show you a newspaper article for you to read. This is one of the coolest features about this game and has never returned since. The article headline will change depending on your mission rating, and the article itself will be different depending on how many witnesses there were, how accurate you were with your shots, how many people you killed, and how you killed them. It wasn't a necessary feature to have, but it's all about the charm. The best rating / the one you should be trying to achieve is Silent Assassin. The stipulations to achieve this is quite simple to understand, but hard in execution. No witnesses, no bodies found, and kill only your targets and no one else. But I'm gonna pause there. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves, so let's rewind and see what the game itself offers us so we can get Silent Assassin. To get a better score, the main thing you want to focus on is your sus meter. If the meter turns green, that doesn't usually mean anything of interest. Guards are probably thinking you look a bit funny or something. I mean, then again, I'd be a bit concerned too if I saw a bald cunt wearing a suit going for a jog outside my house. If the meter turns yellow, that means the guards are on high alert. A gunshot may have been heard, a body may have been found, or a civilian has witnessed you performing an illegal action. Aside from the latter, it shouldn't affect your rating too much if it turns yellow. If the bar turns red, you've been compromised. Guards have either been informed of your suspicious behavior or catch you red-handed doing something illegal. When the bar is red, the best course of action is to run and hide, though guards will attack you if they see you again. Or you can try and fight back. This, while eliminating your current problem, will cause your mission rating to plummet, as you're killing non-targets and gaining witnesses. So to keep your mission rating high, keep an eye on your suspicion meter and try your best to keep it low. The key to Hitman is patience. It's a learning experience. Learning the layout of each mission, learning the areas the guards will patrol, learning the paths of NPCs and targets alike. This will all take time and can throw a lot of players off at first. You'll also notice that the combat is rather clunky. This is because Hitman is not by any means an action game. If combat is done at all, it should be as a last resort. Gunplay requires precision, with minimal shots being fired, if any at all. When taking a shot, you gotta take it at the perfect moment, when the guards and other NPCs are none the wiser. Well, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from making this an action game and just shooting everyone you see, but for those willing to achieve the best score possible, this is just not an option. But hey, if that's not your thing, fuck it. There's nothing stopping you. Kill everyone. This is probably a good time to mention that this game has a fully functioning first person alongside the third person mode, being able to switch between them both on the fly. Albeit this can be quite clunky at times and the first person models for some of the weapons are not great, but I can't complain too much. This is a feature rare to see in games nowadays. I must say though, weapons seem to be much more accurate in third person mode. And in third person mode, you can see around walls while sneaking around, so while cool and all, this feature seems rather redundant, even in a gunfight, which is odd. But this is Hitman, and not Doom. Unless you want it to be. Obviously, this is not a shooter, it's a stealth game, so a huge priority when developing stealth games is the AI. And aside from seeming a bit inconsistent at times, the AI holds up well for the most part. The most impressive feature for the time is that unlike previous Hitman games, when caught trespassing, guards won't just start firing at you. Instead, they'll tell you to leave said area and gives you time to do so. Another impressive feature to do with the AI is that some areas require you to get frisked before entering. Having weapons on you will cause the guard to refuse entry. Whether it be a single guard with a contraband scanner or a full-blown metal detector and conveyor belt, this alone adds variety to each mission on top of everything else, and encourages you to experiment with different playstyles and tools, which is a welcome addition. Missions are set in semi-open world environments, like a hub of sorts, very non-linear with a lot of verticality. This allows you to explore at your own pace, given that you don't have any waypoints and very little intel. Missions will sometimes change up the formula, like in the mission Flatline, you don't know who the target is. You obtain the identity of your target by infiltrating the clinic and speaking with another agent. Within the same mission, you have to kill the agent with a serum and revive him with an antidote to get him out. Some missions will have a VIP. Harming them in any way will cause an instant mission failure. The mission Death on the Mississippi has a total of 7 targets. In the mission Curtains Down, you have one of the most iconic deaths in Hitman. You can swap out a prop pistol for a real pistol, causing one of the actors to kill your target for you. The Hitman games are not only loved for all of this, and for the open-ended design of the levels, but for the seemingly infinite ways to eliminate targets. I've played this game so many times for so many years, and still, replaying it for this video, I managed to find new ways to kill targets, new ways to play, new areas to discover. That's how open-ended and non-restricted the level design is. Even with the seemingly restrictive sections, there are multiple approaches. For example, in the mission A House of Cards, the Sheik is always in this private booth, restricted to only his guards and one of the other targets, Hendrik Schmutz. For years I always killed him in the same way. I walk into his booth disguised as Schmutz, while no one is looking I'll take him out with the fiber wire. With the second playthrough I did for this video, I wanted to see if there was another way to kill him, so I did some exploring. I got to the 7th floor of the hotel and found out that on the balcony, you can scale the side of the building and make your way up to the 8th floor. I eventually jumped from balcony to balcony, finding one of the other target's hotel rooms, which I've never been in before. In the bedroom, you can actually call the Sheik from a cell phone lying on the table. Calling him and not saying anything will cause him to go to the roof, thinking he has a bad signal. When he was on the roof, I went to the balcony and realized to myself, holy shit, I could kill him right now if I had a fucking sniper. So I restarted the level, equipped the sniper, went through all that bullshit again, and 40 minutes later...
Shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, no, he's running away. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Oh, fuck.
I think that's what makes this game as good as it is. A whole bunch of levels where you dictate how they'll play out each time in wide open and explorable environments. Each different level with its own setting, no layout to be confused with one another, all with their own different color palettes, unpredictable NPCs, and in general, a whole bunch of variety. All topped off by how good it feels when you play a level without any guides and achieve the Silent Assassin rating. Or maybe not. I'd argue the game is just as fun when you're dicking about and killing everyone you see. I do have 2 complaints about the level design. The first is that there's not more of it, which is a half-assed complaint, I know, but with the 13 missions this game has minus the 2, which are just the tutorial and epilogue, this game would have definitely benefited from a few more open and expansive missions. My more reasonable complaint is that if you're going for a Silent Assassin run, there's going to be a lot of trial and error involved. I won't lie, this can get really annoying. The AI's paths and behavior in this game is not exactly the most consistent thing in the world. What's even more annoying is that when you complete a level thinking you've done it flawlessly, only to have one witness that you can't even recall having, and you get the professional rating and not Silent Assassin. In which at that point, I have no choice but to... The game gives you a set of items/tools for every mission. First you have one of the most iconic Hitman items, the fiber wire, a strangulation device used for a quick, quiet, and efficient kill. A lockpick, but we all know Agent 47 can't top the real master of unlocking.
You're right!
A set of binoculars. While sounding rather useful, with the 2 playthroughs I've done for this video, I never actually found myself using them. The coin, a very efficient distraction tool. Throw the coin in a range of an NPC and they'll be distracted momentarily, giving you a small window to do what you need to do. While it does say coin, implying you only get 1, you in fact get an unlimited amount, which in turn makes it quite broken. Though I find it weird Agent 47 remains so quiet with all these coins in his pockets. When moving around, you should sound like this. Maybe you're not exactly a silent assassin, maybe you're more of a wannabe terrorist. The RUAP mine and detonator should help you out in that case. You can use it as a trap, or you can try and get an accidental kill by placing the bomb on a winch, causing a chandelier or light rig to collapse and fall on your targets. This will give you a better rating, as accidents give you a better score than direct kills. Another use I figured out for the mine is as a rather unconventional distraction tool. Unlike the coin, the explosion of a mine will cause a huge number of guards to go and investigate the noise, giving you a massive window of opportunity to do what you need to do. You also get 2 syringes. One contains a lethal poison, which can kill within seconds. The other contains a strong sedative, which will incapacitate without killing. The best way to use these is to spike someone's drink or food, or you can inject them directly. This is how I got vaccinated. Someone just approached me in a dark alley and... You get 2 charges for each vaccine. With the poison, that may not be a big deal, as you have other items like the fiber wire to kill targets. But if you wish to incapacitate other NPCs and have used up both charges in the sedative, you still can. Using a small firearm like a handgun will let you take anyone as a human shield. You can use this in combat, but like I said before, combat should be a last resort. The best use for this is to take someone as a human shield, take them somewhere quiet, and bash the gun over their head to knock them out. The only drawback to using this over the sedative is that it's quite loud and can be heard by nearby guards. Speaking of firearms, the game doesn't give you any firearms in your default inventory. Firearms can be equipped separately in the contract briefing before the mission starts. You can choose between a silver baller pistol, SMG, shotgun, assault rifle, and sniper rifle. Other weapons can be unlocked by finding them within missions. This is where the money you earn from completing missions goes to. You can upgrade these weapons or buy new equipment. These upgrades could be silencers, a better lockpick, an undetectable briefcase, extra magazines, and many more upgrades. What I like most about the inventory is that these items, while useful and all, aren't actually necessary to use. They're just tools to aid you in completing your contract. Regardless of your playstyle, these items don't really have any set points you have to use them for. You just have to figure it out for yourself. How to become the perfect hitman, part 726. Have you been spotted by hostiles? Is your identity exposed? Well, if so, you need a disguise. If sneaking around isn't your thing, and you like hiding in plain sight, you can use disguises to get through certain restricted areas without being spotted or raising your suspicion meter. Disguises could be a security guard, staff worker, contractor, VIP, etc. You can incapacitate them and take their clothes, or you can also find outfits in staff rooms and locker rooms. But just because you've obtained a disguise doesn't mean you have access to all restricted areas. Disguises will have different rankings and will only give you access to specific places in the level. For example, in the second level, a vintage year takes place in a winery in the mountains of Chile. The guard disguise gives you access to the courtyard, wine cellar, and guardhouse. The worker outfit gives you access to the courtyard, wine cellar, drug lab, and hangar. And the VIP guard outfit gives you access to all the above mentioned areas, including the highly restricted hacienda. Overall, the disguise system is quite unique. The only thing that I don't like about it is that literally no fellow staff worker or guard realizes, I've worked here for 6 years and I've never seen this guy before. Must be a new worker. This was an issue they did fix in the Hitman trilogy with the Enforcer system. It's a little stupid, the disguise system, but you can see why it's so iconic. Mainly due to Agent 47 just having that stone cold look in some of these ridiculous outfits. Like the birds in a mission A Murder of Crows. Everyone knows that Corky the Clown outfit. In the wedding, not only can you disguise yourself as the priest, but you can also wed the couple. And hey, Agent 47's even cosplaying as Harry Mason.
Have you seen a little girl?
I want to now take a moment to talk about the soundtrack. Composed by Jesper Kid, the soundtrack is so perfect. But not just the tracks themselves, rather how each track is incorporated into gameplay. Instead of just having certain songs play in certain levels and in certain moments and that's it, a range of different tracks are used to convey the current mood, environment, and suspicion meter in every level. The more you play the game, the more you understand what these tracks are conveying, creating a form of tension you won't see in other stealth games. The music will change in different scenarios, like when you're trespassing, when you're disguised in hostile areas, when you've become compromised, when you're in combat or on the run, when you take out your target silently, And one of my favorites is when you're clear after being compromised and guards have stopped searching for you, or when you've escaped hostile areas after taking out a target. This tune plays. A calming victory-style tune to convey that you're in the clear and you're one step closer to completing your objectives. But it's then followed up by this. A quiet but tense piece, signifying that it's still not over. You still have more objectives to complete, or you still have to escape from the mission and not get caught. These atmospheric pieces accompanying certain gameplay moments do repeat themselves throughout the game. It may seem like it's just reusing tracks, and it is. But that's the point. The more you play the game, the more you understand the flow of the soundtrack and what each track means. Not only do they do that, but they truly do put you in these scenarios. It makes you feel like Agent 47, the divine, masterful, elegant, silent assassin. Speaking of Agent 47, I think it's time to talk about the game's story. Here's the deal with Hitman's story. The game is clear and concise enough with its objectives, being kill that person and escape, to where you don't really need to focus on the story to know what's going on. I've been playing this game on and off for over a decade now, and honestly, I had no idea what the story was about until maybe a couple years ago. Unlike a lot of other games, you'll easily understand the motives and objectives without paying too much attention. That's why I'm not going to go in depth on the story today. Agent 47 is a clone who works for the ICA. Its rival is the FBI. The story takes place in the present day where a journalist is interviewing the former director of the FBI. The interview discusses Agent 47, which to the general public is just an urban myth. The gameplay and missions serve as flashbacks. Throughout the game they end up discussing the politics behind cloning and how if Agent 47's DNA got in the wrong hands, they could create an army of perfect assassins. Long story short, Agent 47 ends up being captured by the FBI and killed. The journalist attends his funeral and cremation alongside the members of the FBI, which ends up at the epilogue mission to Hitman Blood Money, Requiem. The game has two endings. One where Agent 47 dies and gets cremated. However, if you were paying attention to how Agent 47 got captured, you'll find out that he isn't dead at all. Diana, his handler, incapacitated him with a serum, making it seem like he had deceased, pretending to side with the FBI. At the funeral, she had revived him with the antidote and left the church. The other ending is achieved if you spam all buttons on your controller while the credits play. Agent 47 will rise from his deathbed in angelic fashion, wielding two silver ballers, wearing a white suit, to kill the FBI agents, director, and any other witness of this assassination, all while Ave Maria plays in the background. Truly a divine end to the story. I guess now you can make the comparison with the religious imagery in this game. Agent 47 possibly represents Jesus coming back from the dead, and Diana would represent the Virgin Mary, taking care of the one she cares about the most and guiding him till the end. Look, I still would say the story isn't that great, it's just okay at best, but if you do pay attention, you have this wonderful final mission to reward you with. And that, my friends, is Hitman Blood Money. Truly a remarkable, almost flawless experience. But no, I can't say this is a perfect game. What mainly holds it back is how annoying the trial and error can be, and the game's difficulty curve does not cater towards new players at all. And there's another weird system that I haven't even talked about yet. If you're playing on normal difficulty or higher, there's a notoriety system that can affect the game and its NPCs. If you get a lot of witnesses throughout a level, the more notoriety you get, stacking up throughout playing the game. On one hand, this is really cool. The newspaper articles have sketches of what the witnesses said the perpetrator looked like. The more notoriety you have, that makes the sketches look more and more like Agent 47. Playing with higher notoriety will cause some NPCs to recognize you as that bold killer from the newspaper, making everyone more suspicious of you. Really cool in concept. In practice, this sucks. For one, I've never actually seen this affect gameplay. And two, you can use bribes to clear your notoriety, and the bribes aren't even that expensive. So to have notoriety affect the game, you must actively play like an imbecile. That sucks because this system has the potential to be really cool. Regardless of that, Hitman Blood Money remains a classic. So much variety, so much replayability, so much charm, jam-packed with references, Easter eggs, and really stupid shit. There is so much to look forward to here. Nevertheless though, Hitman Blood Money gets the score of 92. I'd honestly say one of the best things about Hitman Blood Money is that it's been so preserved. You can get this game on every console in the last like 4 generations for a pretty cheap price, and even PC too. Only issue with PC though is that yes, it is an old game, so your hardware probably will be able to run it, but since it's such an old game, newer hardware tends to struggle running this game as it's supposed to. On my PC it seemed to be fine, but on yours it could be a different story. But yes, I truly do recommend. Just be warned though, the game has shown its age in some places. The control system is okay. It takes some getting used to, but it is a little bit clunky. And be patient. Don't expect to be good at the game day one, because that's not going to happen. Be willing to learn and get good at this game, and you'll be rewarded, trust me. Otherwise it feels pretty good to finally make a video again. All I really have left to say is... thanks for making it to the very end of the video. If you like what you saw, please leave a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. It's been a while, I know, but I'll never quit. Thank you so much once again, and take care. See you later.
Holy fucking shit! I've gone bald!